Hi there, I'm Narelle from Simply Narelle and welcome to my channel about cross stitching. If you're a regular viewer and subscriber, first of all let me apologise for my very long absence and the glare on my glasses. I'm going to get new glasses soon and I'm going to get the anti-glare thing, I think. Anyway, and the light is terrible. You know the story of my life. I can't get the lighting right. One of these years I will. Anyway, you're here to see the cross stitch. Yeah, I fell into a slump and I just couldn't be bothered filming. Really, that's all it came down to. And I also felt a little bit, I think you want to call it imposter syndrome, where I didn't think I was good enough, what I was showing was good enough, that I just like, why would people be interested in what I'm stitching and what I've got to talk about and what I've got to show. But then I remembered that one of the reasons I started this channel was because I wanted a record over time of my own stitching journey, my thoughts about it, what I stitched on, what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy, and all of that went along with it, how my tastes change over time and things like that. So really it's come down to, I want to keep a record for myself. If other people want to jump on the journey with me, then so be it. And if you don't like my videos, then you don't have to watch them, you know. So yeah, I'm just gonna do them. I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing. I sort of want to say I'll do it regularly, but then I keep changing from wanting to do challenges to doing my own thing. So if I do my own thing, I might get stuck on the one project for 2 weeks, and that'll be like a 5-minute video, because what am I going to talk about besides that one thing I've been stitching? So I don't know what the regular interval is going to be. If there's a regular interval, it might just be, hey, there's a new video up. It could be months between them, it could be days between them, I don't know. Anyway, so I think the last video I did was like early July, and it is now mid-September. It's like the 18th of September 2023, and I think the last video I did was like the 4th of July 2023, which is quite a big span in between. And I know a few people have unsubscribed because I think I've probably dropped off the face of the earth. I am still here. Now, this may be a little disjointed, this video, because hubby and son are out grocery shopping, which I love that they do that for me. So I've taken the opportunity when the house is quiet to get some filming done, so hopefully they don't text me with questions about things on the list, or they come home midway through and I'll have to cut and continue on later. So anyway, what I'm going to talk about is everything I have stitched from July up till now. And I'm going to start with the current challenge I'm doing, which is ABC Ingo, and it's from a Facebook group called Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge or something like that. So I will link the group below. It's run by Carolyn Zook from C Zook Stitch and Robin from Bird's Eye Stitches. So anyway, it's a thing they run every September, and it's like a bingo board, and there's 25 squares on the bingo board. You fill each one with a letter. Each year they miss out a different letter of the alphabet, because there's 26 letters in the alphabet. To fit them on a bingo board, they need to take one out. This year they took the letter T out. And you basically just fill your board randomly with a letter, and then you make a project fit. And then every day Carolyn will pick a letter, and you stitch on that project for 1 hour or 100 stitches for that day. When you've done that, you mark them off. So you can see here, 18th of September, and I don't have any bingos yet. And today's call is the letter A, and I still don't get a bingo. I think there was like 2 letters, A and O, which if they were called would not give me a bingo. Every other letter, I, F, U, wait, oh, H has been called. I haven't marked it off, but C, J, they'd all give me a bingo. And of course, Carolyn had to call the letter, one of the 2 letters out of all that left that wouldn't give me a bingo. Oh. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoy this challenge, and I think the difference this time is because I've filled my board with just 3 projects. So in the past, I would try and fit in as many whips as I could to match the letters, and then it was a pain to have to keep changing projects every night. Like stitch on it an hour, put it away, get the new one out for the next day when it's called, put it on the Q snap, get everything set up, and start stitching for an hour. And I usually didn't just stitch the hour. I continued to the rest of the night, and that was my nightly stitching. But the fact that I was changing projects every day was a pain, and it became a bit overwhelming, a bit of a hassle. I just couldn't be bothered. So I normally didn't complete the full month. Now this goes for 25 days, and then you get the rest of the month to catch up if you've fallen behind. So this time around, I filled the board with 3 projects. A squirrel from a magazine, a Country Threads kit, glass by the water pump, and an old Lanart kit that I've had for donkey's years. And I made each of those 3 projects fit the board and all the prompts. And I got them ready beforehand, and they've all been on a Q-snap, like each on their own Q-snap, and I just pull them out of the bag when I'm ready to go, ready to stitch, and it's so much easier. And I've actually got a lot done, and I'm kept up with the prompts. I think I had a week for last where I sort of fell behind, but I spent Saturday just stitching an hour on all of them to catch up. So I'm going to show you those. Now, I may not have before photos. If I find before photos, I will pop them in. But I don't know if I can be bothered doing that. So you're just going to see progress where they are, really. So the first one is a Country Threads kit called Galahs by the water pump. Really, really pretty. Love this one. And I'm sort of up to here. Just sort of started this water trough, I think, or is it the other way around? No, I'm over here. I think I've done these 2 over here. Sorry, I forget it's back to front. Anyway. And I'm really enjoying this. I really, really like this stitch. So this is where I am up to. So you can see that's the first galah on the left, and then I've done, so he goes up a bit as well, but I've got it on the Q-snap. I'm not taking it off because this is going to keep getting called. And I've done the ground, and I think that's the start of the water trough, or the something. What is it? It's not a water trough, is it? No, it's just water on the... No, it is a water trough. Yeah, it is a water trough. Yeah, so this one is coming along nicely. So I'm sort of working left to right. I did the bird, so now I'm concentrating on filling in all this sort of ground and stuff down here, and then I'll move across and keep going. I can't fit it all because I like a shorter length, like 8 inches. I won't go past normally 8 inches because it hurts to stretch past because I'm a bit short and got T-Rex arms. I can't reach any higher. So you'll never find me stitching on a 17-inch high and 10-inch if I absolutely have to, but I really don't like to. So it's normally an 8-inch, and I'll do it like out to 17, or I think this is 11 by 8. That's my favorite Q-snap size. Yeah, so then I'll adjust it. So if I keep going on the ground, I'll leave it like it is till I get to here, and then I'll readjust it on the frame, and then complete sort of that section up there. Anyway, so that's Galahs by the water pump, and I think it only has a few more times to get called. 1, 2, 3 more times. Today's call is the squirrel, so it won't get called, won't get stitched on today. Alright. And I'm just keeping them in a bag at the table so they're easy to pull out and work on. So this next one is my Lanart. I don't know if that's pronounced properly. No idea. And these, from what I can tell, don't have names. They just have numbers. This is my oldest whip. Bought this before I got married, just after I got married. And it was meant to be for our bedroom. And I don't know, next year we'll be married 25 years, so. And it just has a number 34510. I don't know. But yeah, I really love this. I still love this picture. And the good thing is it comes on printed fabric, so you don't have to do all this shaded yellow at the back. You do have to do the frame that you can just see there, stitched frame. But I'm just up here on the pot. It's actually quite big. It takes a lot of work, this one. So I'm sort of just, I've done the pot and I'm just up on the little section of flowers there. So that is where this one is. Now this is a little bit like a dimensions kit, and some stuff they want done with just one thread, but I'm too lazy to read those instructions and work that out and be bothered. So these things, for example, down here, they are 2 strands when some of them are called for 1, but it's like, who's going to know? Like, I put it on my wall in a frame and people go, oh, isn't that pretty? And then walk away. So they're not going to examine it. None of them, and come to my house, are ever going to be cross stitches. So what will they know? So those sort of things don't worry me. You know, I stitch for the fun, not necessarily for the perfect end product, because, you know, there's always a mistake in one of my pieces, or more to one mistake. Alright, and the last one for ABC Ingo I've been working on is my autumn squirrel. And would you believe this one is the very first one I started when the monthly magazine cross stitch group started, and that was in September 2020, and I am still going on it. Alright, so here he is, my autumn squirrel. Absolutely love him. We don't have squirrels in Australia, but I just fell in love with him, so had to do it. But if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that this one has been in timeout because I made a big mistake and now I'm fudging it. So this is where he is now. So somewhere down here I made some sort of mistake, and I think this is meant to be like a leaf or something similar to this, and I made a mistake somewhere and I just went, oh, forget that. So I moved up the top and then kept going around the side. You can see there's a mistake up here as well, because the circle's not quite a circle up there. But I'll just go back in and fudge some extra stitches to make it more of a circle. So that is my squirrel. I love him. And I am trying to focus on getting this one finished. So I only have like the detail down here to go. So even if I can't get that done on the times it's left to be called in the ABC Ingo, I'm just going to keep stitching on him until he's done. So he has got, oh, I think he's only got one more today and one more call. So he's not going to get done in that time for the ABC Ingo, but I am going to keep stitching him because I want him done. So that's my squirrel. So I'll link the group below, like I said, because it's a really fun group. Each month they have an acrostic and a theme that you can stitch along to. So it's always fun. And it's a no pressure group. So if you can't or you don't want to do a magazine piece for the theme or the acrostic, you don't have to. Carolyn and Robin are trying to get it back towards that, because when it first started, your theme piece had to be from a magazine, which is all well and good, but some people have magazines I never stitch from, they just like looking at, and others have so many other whips they don't want to start something new just for a challenge, so they've let the rule sort of slide. But them personally are trying to get back to that magazine piece. Alright, so what else did I do? I also stitched on for September 11. I have a memorial piece that I started a few years ago for September 11, and I only ever pull it out on that day and stitch on it, so it won't be finished obviously this year because it didn't get finished this year. Hopefully next year I might finish it. So I'm not American. I don't have any association with America, no family in America. I don't have any relatives who've come from America. My husband does have family, we found out, in New York. One of them used to be the chief of police or something in New York. So we do have a connection now, with New York family, but that was only recent, in the last 12 months or so we've found that connection. So I did this because 9/11 was such a worldwide event that I felt like I had to memorialize it some way and remember it. So, and I didn't want anything too American because I'm in Australia. So I thought this, when I saw this, was just American enough. Sweet Land of Liberty by Cherry Hill Stitchery. Love it. Just love it. It's just American enough that it's not, it hasn't got a great big American flag in it or an eagle or anything that doesn't relate to Australia, but it's American enough, if you know what I mean, for an Aussie. So I would have loved Lady of the Flag, but you know, that's like hen's teeth to try and find. Oh, let's just move my needle minder here out of the way. So I think I'm doing this on, looks like a 14 count Ada, probably because it's just what I had in my stash. So, and that is where I am at now. So I've got the top border done, the top half done, the Sweet Land of, and I've just got to finish off the Liberty. I've got to do the Y. The Y is not finished, and then there's a white on the, around the letters as well. So that is, I love that. That's really nice. It's got the American flags. There's also an error up here, but if I didn't tell you about it, you wouldn't know it. Something's out of alignment by 1 or something. I don't know. See the flag over here is closer than the flag there. And if I hadn't have pointed it out, you wouldn't have seen it, but you know. It is what it is. I love this piece. So I'm hoping that next year I actually get to finish it. This was a restart because when I first started it, I got all that done and then I looked at the board and I went, what do you call that? Just like next to nothing. And then up here, because my fabric is cut crooked, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to run out of room. Like that's the edge of it. But look at that. It's like not even an inch up there. So I thought, no, I can't live with that. That's ridiculous. So I had to restart it. So I think last year I restarted it. So I did quite a lot, obviously, last year. I must have worked on it more than one day. Probably to catch up because I had restarted it. So that is Sweet Land of Liberty. And then I gave in after much deliberation about, do I want to get a tablet to run Pattern Keeper on, because I've got 20 odd full coverages. And when I was working on my stitching shelf by Amy Stewart from Heaven and Earth Designs, I kept missing colours. Like I'd look at my 10 by 10 block and get them, and then I'd go to park my thread down further, and then when I came back to move to the next 10 by 10 block, I'd rethread a colour because there wasn't anything parked in that spot, and then I'd go down the block and go, oh look, there's already one there. So I'd missed symbols and I should have parked it up further, and I'd missed and skipped, and that was frustrating. So then I thought, well, okay, I'm going to get Pattern Keeper. I didn't want to have to buy a new tablet for Pattern Keeper. I've only got iPads. So I thought about and I downloaded the iPad Markup XP. I got the trial version, spent a day using it and went, that's it, I'm getting this because it's fantastic. And I tell you what, it has made such a difference. Sorry, that's my dog. Let me just hang on a minute. Okay, so I don't know what I was talking about. Full coverages. Anyway, so I bought the Markup XP, absolutely loved it, and then bought it, and I have never looked back. It has made stitching on my full coverage, a stitching shelf, so much easier, and I don't need to park anymore because I can go cross country sort of in the page and not miss a stitch. It is wonderful. If ever you have been on the fence or you are on the fence and you don't know whether you want to purchase an app for your full coverages, just do it. Oh my gosh, I don't think I would ever like it, but it's actually addictive using the app, and I don't want to stop stitching when I start. So this is, I'll show you the picture first. I don't know if I have it now. No, I don't have it. Okay, I'll insert a picture. But you probably have all seen this full coverage anyway, a stitching shelf by Amy Stewart. It's very, very popular. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm just doing the regular chart. So there it is. So I'm up to page 3, I think it is. So I just love this. Like, it's got enough detail. I didn't feel I need to do max colors. It's got enough detail. Absolutely loving it. So now I'm really keen to start all my other full coverages. I only have 23 or something of them, not many. So that's my stitching shelf. The fabric is huge. Now, I did have a dilemma on this, and because the fabric's so huge, I was struggling getting it into the Q-snap and dealing with all the excess fabric. Now, wait a minute. Hang on, I have to continue that story. 1 second, the boys are home. Okay, now we're back. So, yes, so the app is amazing, and I so want to start all my full coverages now because it's, I love it. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Which is part of the reason why I don't know if I want to do challenges anymore, if I just want to do my own stitching. Because once I start on a full coverage, so once I start working on a full coverage, I don't want to stop. And I don't want to like do that for a day and then move on to something else. I want to do like a week or so on it. And I don't know whether, you know, I can make it work in challenges. And when I do start that, it's like, well, what have I got to film? So there's one project, and I'm not taking it off the Q-snap each time I film. So, you know, if I do several pages, you're not going to see it all because it's too fiddly to put back on. Alright, so the next thing I did was, okay, August was my birthday month. So I did a month of Rosewood Manners, and I had a heap of new starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 6 new starts in August for my Rosewood Manor month, because I love Rosewood Manor and everything she does. So I had a heap of her charts and I wanted to start them all that I could. So I did. Alright. So the first one, these are not in any order of how I started them. They could be, I don't know. I just pulled them all out. And I don't have the actual booklets because I work from a photocopy. So the booklets are back in my stash and I'm not going to dig for them to try and find them. So I've just got the copy of the front page, is what I'm trying to say. So the first one is Cornwall Cottage Sampler. I love this. Absolutely love this one. So I think this is the actual first one I started because I just love it so much. And I'm actually doing it on 32 count Belfast cream linen. And where is it? It's here. And this is also my first real foray into doing lots on linen. So, and I found it really, really cool. I loved it. I do need to, it's got overlock around the edges, but there's my little start. So I only gave them all like a day or two in the month, maybe 3 days, depends how easy I found it to do. So there is my start on Cornwall Cottage. I can't remember if it's a call for colours. If Karen uses a lot of Weeks Dye Works and things, so I just converted it all to DMC. So the colours, you'll see one later, the colours are really different to the actual chart because I wasn't going to buy all the Valdani threads or the Weeks Dye Works or whatever. So that's my Cornwall Cottage. I love that one. Really nice. And you'll see at the top that one little stitch all by itself. That's where I mark my 3 inches in my normal border. I just put a little stitch in there and that's where I know where to start. And because this fabric is heaps big enough for the project, I actually went down from that stitch a little bit because I knew I'd have the room. Okay. Next was a Tisket, a Tasket. This one is very popular as well. So there it is, Tisket, a Tasket. Blues and browns, beiges, gorgeous. I love a sampler or a design that has a floral border. sucker for a floral border. And this one I am doing on 32 count Belfast Platinum Linen by Zweigart. And here is my little star. And this one was a little bit more challenging than I thought, so I really didn't get a lot done on this one. I don't know why. If it's lots of colour changes, I don't know, but I think that's so pretty. It's going to be gorgeous. I don't think the photo really does this one justice. I really don't. So that was that start. I had a ball, but I will tell you, by the end of the month, I was sick of starting new things. But now I've got the bug to start new things again. I'll watch someone's YouTube and I'll go, oh yeah, okay, I've got something by that designer, or I've got that pattern, I want to start it. Oh, how many whips can you have, really? Okay, so this one is Blue Rhapsody. I think this was my favourite to stitch. I couldn't stop stitching it. Probably because I only got a few colours in it. It's really simple. Well, the pattern's not simple. Having colour choices is not. What am I trying to say? Because there's not many colours in the palette, there's not a lot of colour changing, and that's why I liked it. I don't know. I don't know. You tell me what I'm trying to say. Blue Rhapsody. Love it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, what was that for? Alphabet for personalising something. Which one was it? Oh, this one. Okay. Oh. Alright, now I'm doing this on, did I say? No, I didn't say. Here we go. It is 36 count Desert Taipan by 36 count linen Desert Taipan by Fox and Rabbit. And I'm using 2 threads. I don't know. Are you meant to use 2 threads on 36 count? I don't know. But I am. And wait, that's the... No, that's the right way. Yes, that's the back. Alright, and this is how far I got on that one. Oh, goodness. There we go. Get all my fabric sorted. So, just started the butterfly in the top left and started the alphabet underneath. Love this one. It is so much fun to stitch. And do you hear what I said? 36 count. Oh my gosh. I did not know I could stitch on 36 count. That's amazing. So I love that one. Oh, yes. Alright, so here's my bag. I feel like I'm messing everything up here. Like I'm pulling stuff out and I'm not sure if that's actually for that project or if it's something I didn't put back in for the previous project. Oh, goodness. Okay. The next one is my absolute ultimate challenge. I saw Shirley McKinney do it. I can't remember the name of her channel. And as soon as I saw hers, I went, I have to have, sorry, just get rid of that notification. I have to do it. No idea it would be so challenging. Inspiration by Rosie Benner. Look at that. Oh, there's so much of it. And apparently some of this stuff in here, like the people and the animals and stuff, are 1/1. That'll be interesting. But anyway, it's inspiration. I absolutely love it. So detailed. I didn't get a lot done on this one because I did find it a lot more challenging than I was expecting. I'm doing it on 32 count Belfast linen antique ivory. And check this out. Look at that. Oh, isn't that stunning? There is a lot of back stitching in this one. Laura, looking at you. I don't like back stitching. Oh, I've come to the realization I don't like back stitching. And this one has a lot in it. So all the way around there, connecting all those little flowers, is all back stitching. I'm struggling with it. I think that's why I didn't get a lot done on this one. So you know, I'm sure when it's all done and filled in, it'll be super pretty and it'll be well worth it. But this one I don't think is going to get pulled out as often as I would like because of that back stitching. But, you know, if I want to stitch it and I want to complete it, I'm just going to have to suck it up and do it, aren't I? But it's not my favourite thing in the world to do. It's a really big pattern. Oh my gosh, get in there. Right. Next. Oh, sorry, itchy nose. Right, next was Spring Quakers. I've got all the Quakers from Rosewood Manor. There's the spring, the autumn. Is there a summer one? I don't know. Alright, so this is it, Spring Quakers. Now this is the one that is really different to what is pictured. See that picture? Karen has used Valdani threads for this. See the little box of Valdani threads down there? I didn't want to have to buy them to do it. So I thought, oh, I can substitute DMC. Yeah, well, maybe, maybe not. I tried to get as close a match or a conversion to DMC. I looked online and looked at substitutes for the Valdani threads, what DMC colours match, and these are the colours that it gave me, which has got pinks and purples in it, which is a lot of what the Valdani threads are. But I think it's got the oranges and blues, it's hard to see, in there. That's making it look different. So this I'm doing on Swagger 32 count antique white linen. And folded it inside out. Right, so that is what I've done. But you can see the palette is completely different to the picture. So if we compare this picture, right, compare the two. Isn't that a commercial for Super or something? Compare the pair. Compare the pair. Alright, you can see that mine has a much more autumnal tone to it than the actual. Can you see that? So this one is a lot more pinks and purples. Mine is blues and like the autumn tones, I guess, like more of the burnt oranges and stuff. So I don't know. I really like the way it's stitched on the chart with the pinks and stuff and the Valdani threads, but right now I cannot justify spending the money to get the Valdani threads. So like I had considered restarting it, getting the Valdani threads and restarting it, but we've just had a massive vet bill. If you're in Australia, you know that commercial for that show. I don't know what the show's name. I can't remember. I don't watch it. But the guy runs over the dogs, and the short of the show is he's at the vet and he's going, $12,000, but it's just a dog. That I laugh every time I see that commercial now, because that's us. We just spent that on our dog. So now I don't have the money for the Valdani threads. Yeah, so our poor little puppy Benji went out one day in the yard and we were coming back in and he just yelped and came and ran towards me and just sat, wouldn't move. And then I eventually coaxed him inside, and then he would just, like, I'd walk somewhere and he'd follow me and he'd sit. And he'd look up at me and just sit. I thought, that is not him, you know, that's weird. So eventually I got him to lay down on his bed, and he was caught a little ball and he was shaking, like shaking a lot. I went, this is not right. Checked his paws, went out and looked at the yard in case there was glass or something that he trod on, a bindi plant or something, nothing. But he'd like, eventually stop shaking, and then he'd go to move around and he just yelped. And it's like, he couldn't get comfortable, and anywhere he moved to lay down, he yelped. He couldn't jump up on the lounge. I checked his paws, felt all over him. There was no ticks or anything. He didn't react when I felt his legs. I thought he might have dislocated a hip or a knee or something. Anyway, so we had to take him to the vet, or called our vet, and they couldn't fit him in. So then we took him to the local 24-hour vet hospital, who charged like wounded buffaloes. But anyway, you know, you got to pay it. Anyway, so they couldn't work out what was wrong either. They eventually worked out it was when he turned his head. So he could turn his head to the left, but when he turned to the right, he turned his whole body rather than his neck. And because he's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, they have an issue with their skull where it's malformed and the brain pushes out the back of the skull, and that can impact on the spinal cord or something or other. Anyway, and they said it could be that, or it could be meningitis. So they said they kept him in for observation, put him on painkillers, gave him really strong painkillers, and they reviewed him the next day, and they said he's still yelping when he moves, he can't get comfortable, blah blah. So they said, okay, let's do the MRI to rule out the skull thing. So $6,000 later, had now MRI, which showed his Chiari or whatever it is, malformation is mild, so that wouldn't be causing a problem. He did have a problem with the discs, 2 discs on his spine, and it said they shouldn't really be causing him a problem. So they said that's not the issue, but they couldn't rule out meningitis, so they wanted to do a spinal tap. So another $2,500 for the spinal tap, and that came back that no, he didn't have meningitis. But when he came home from the MRI, he had really bad diarrhea. That just kept going and going and going for a few days, and so I rang them because the vet who was meant to come back with MRI results, we found out when I rang them, was off for like a week. Was anyone going to call us? Anyway, because he had really bad diarrhea and he wasn't interested in eating or drinking and he was still in pain, they said bring him back in. So he was in there for another couple of days, and then they did a spinal tap and that came back normal, so he didn't have meningitis. So then they worked out, okay, it must be those discs that are causing him the problem, and it's hurting him more than anyone anticipated or would assume. So they just put him on painkillers, and yeah, we just got to manage him and see how he goes. So anyway, now I don't have the money for my Valdani threads because we were like, $12,000, but it's just a dog. Oh. All right, next one I started, the last one I started for my Rosewood Manor month was O Feathers. So that is this one. Peacock. I'm going to have a peacock wall because we have a peacock in our neighbourhood. So I wanted to do something in honour of our peacock. And what am I doing this on? Hopefully I wrote it somewhere because I can't see it. It's a cream linen, most likely a 32 count. I don't think I wrote it anywhere. Yeah. It's a 32 count something. I remember writing it somewhere, I just don't know where. No, I don't know where I wrote it. 32 count. Yeah, I don't know. This time I started on the bottom left corner, because at the top of the chart, oh my gosh, hang on a minute. I didn't want to get the counting wrong, so I started down here, so then I could work from this border up, and then it's made sense in my head. So there we go, that's my O Feathers start. So that's the bottom left corner. Is it the right way? Yes, bottom left corner. And that's all I did. And for some reason, this one I struggled with. I don't know whether it was because it was coming to the end of the month and I was over the new starts, or I was over the Rosewood Manors. I don't know. But I struggled with this one. And that's all I got done in like 2 days, which is a pretty full start. But anyway, now it's started. I'm sure inspiration will hit me another time and I will pull it out and go great guns on it. But for now, it was time to put it away. So that was my Rosewood Manors for August. Okay, what else? Then I did Jolly July. So I sort of skipped. I went out of order. Sorry. So go back in time to July, and I did Jolly July. And I worked on and finished this mystery cell from Luminous Fiber Arts. God, I had to think then. And check this out. I love this one. The little postage stamps of all the Christmas. Oh my gosh, hang on a minute. Can't believe I actually got it finished. I kept up with the cell. What's more? No, let's just do that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. It's so pretty. I just done this. I just done this on 18 count vintage country mocha Ada by the look of it. Beautiful. Santa and a reindeer, Mrs. Claus and an elf, a girl elf and Rudolph down the bottom. So pretty. That took a lot of white, by the way, that frame, but I really love it. So I'll hopefully get that framed by this Christmas. See how we go. So started that in July and finished it in July. Pretty good. Then I have, oops, yes, okay, and then part of Jolly July, because that took a lot of July. And then what was left of July, I had a new start. I had planned on doing some others. I think I might have shown them in my last video, but I didn't get that far. This one by Stitch Rovia, which is Ellen Congdon, and Santa Comes to Town. Santa is coming to town. I've had this for a long time. I started this on a piece of 25 count even weave, doing 2/2. And that is what I got done. Nice and bright colours, a really easy stitch, lots of fun. So yeah, I really like that. So I've got two others of hers that I plan to do. One's got the big Noel letters on it, and one is like a Christmas village. So I want to do the three, put them together side by side somewhere. Yeah, very nice. So I really enjoyed that one. So that was my Jolly July stitching. And then I think the next one I finished, I think it was after my last video, and it was a stitch along. It was the Singer Sampler series by Silver Creek Samplers, I think. And I joined a stitch along for this. And I finished it, I think it was July, so I'm not sure when I finished it. There it is, all finished. Now in the sample that was done for all the patterns, I did it in one long skinny piece, but I decided to stack it. Someone had shown how they had stacked it like that in 2 rows. So I went, yes, I'm doing that. Means you got to fiddle around with the words, because the words are designed to go all the way along the bottom. And you can see I didn't quite get them lined up properly down the bottom because I got a gap at the end after anything. But, you know, that doesn't worry me. If it really worries me when I go to frame it and put it on the wall, I'll put something down there like a little deer or one of these sewing reels or something. But I'll probably just leave it because, you know, I love it. Now, that's all the called for colours. It's on a bit of Ada. I can't remember what it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue. What is it? Natural? Something like that. Yeah, 18 count, I think. Natural. Oh, it's not, that's not its name. I can't remember its name. But yeah, so I really love that. That's all the called for colours. The only thing is I don't like is my name in that block. You can hardly see it. See the Narelle there in the grass? Hardly see that. But I'm not going to unpick it and do it again. If I want it to stand out more, I'll just stitch over it. Some people have changed the colours totally, like Kelly from his Princess Kelly. Hers looks amazing. She has not done any of the called fors, I don't think, and it looks absolutely awesome. So check her out on Instagram and YouTube. His Princess Kelly. I love her conversion. But I couldn't be bothered changing colours and stuff, so I just stuck with what they're called for. Well, actually, they're all DMC, so I think I converted them. I think the chart calls for Weeks Dye Works and maybe some Classic Colour Works, but I'm not into fancy flossers because they cost too much. So DMC all the way for me. Alright, now I also have a start and a finish of one of my own patterns. So here we go, my little spring cushion. Isn't that cute? I'm really surprised that I like it. This pattern was for one of my bag of the month, project bag of the month clubs. Each month the participants get a free exclusive cross stitch pattern. This was from, I believe it was September, maybe October, I think it's September last year, 2022. And what I think I'm going to do is gradually, you know, as 12 months goes by or a period of time goes by, I'm not going to set a definite time on it. But after a period of time, I'm going to release the charts. I'm going to stitch them up so you can see what they actually look like, because let's face it, everything in a pattern looks different to when it's stitched up. When it's stitched up, it's much more appealing. It looks different, and you can see what it truly looks like. So no mock-up is ever going to be a substitute for the real thing. So I stitched it up. I love it. And I made it into a little pillow. I just grabbed some fabric that I had in stock and then made it a pillow. This chenille trim is I dyed that myself. It was a cream and I just dyed it. So I'm hoping to release this pattern in my shop very soon. I just need to take some photos and get the listing listed. And then I'll also have the trim. I'll dye some more of the trim. I'll have the trim that you can purchase separately. So I just hand tacked the trim on around the edge, and I'm really proud of this. I don't ever do things like this. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for this one because I really, really like it, and I think it's really cute. So anyway, I mean, you might think it's horrible and ugly, but I like it. So surely someone out there is going to like it and want to stitch it. So yeah, there you go. So that's my cute little pillow. I just love my little pillow. Okay, so then that's all my stitching. Now I want to go through a few shop updates. If you don't know, I have an Etsy shop as well as a website. So my Etsy shop is called Simply Narelle. The link is always in the description box below. I also have my own website, which is simplynarelle.com, and you'll find some things listed on my Etsy store, some things on my website, and there's a reason for that. I'm stocking, periodically I will stock designers charts. At the moment I have some Rosewood Manners in the website, on the website. I also have some dimensions kits on the website. Some designers don't allow you to sell on Etsy, so they'll be on my simplynarelle.com site. Things on my Etsy are my top sellers, like my project bags, things like the cottage garden threads that I sell and DMC that I sell are not big sellers on Etsy, so they are going to eventually move across to be just on my simplynarelle.com site. And there'll be things in both places. Some things will be in both places, some things will just be on one. So I have been a little bit slack and I haven't been making a lot of things. So a lot of my project bags, like you'll see, like this. So this is this was a past project bag of the month club bag, which are roughly 12 by 12 inches. So I've been really slack and haven't made a lot of bags. I've been doing the club bags, of course, but I haven't made a lot of other bags recently. And that was part of my slump where I didn't want to film. I also didn't want to work. You know, how do I pay bills if I don't work? Anyway. So I'm starting to make bags again. They'll be on my store. I uploaded a few today. and then I need to get cracking and sewing. So what else? There's spots available at the present moment in my Bag of the Month club. Some people, like, it's a 6-month club. Some people join for the 6 months, and some people continue on. Hang on, I have to come back. Okay, hopefully that's the last interruption. It's like Grand Central Station. Okay, I was talking about the project bags. I've been slack. I have some I've loaded up today, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, I get my act together. There'll be lots more coming in the next week or so. Then I also have a new product that I'm going to be putting up. Let me just get some of this other stuff out of the way. Talk amongst yourselves. So I'm also going to be doing grime guards. Loading some more of them up. Gotta make them first. Notions bags, needle minders. Alright, and then I'm going to start making, which are so addictive to make, counting pins. I don't know, I need something behind that. Oh, I need a bit of, anyway. I have nothing to put behind it, would you believe? I have a desk here of stuff. This will do. No. Counting pins. Ignore the tomato that they're on. So I have lots of these beads. So I thought I would make some counting pins. Oh, they're not focusing. So they're just an example of some of them. I just made a few test ones. So hopefully, is it going to focus on them and not me? Yeah. So hopefully in the next few weeks I will have some counting pins listed in the shop as well. They'll be on Etsy, and probably not on my Simply Narelle site because it doesn't get as much traffic as Etsy, because you know they do all the advertising for you and stuff, and my Simply Narelle site is mainly for the things that I can't put on Etsy or are not volume sellers, so I can't justify the Etsy fees for those things. Like, really, I mean, I sell my DMC skeins for $1, and then you take out the listing fee and the seller fee, and I'm probably not even making 50 cents. I wouldn't be. I'm probably not even making 10 cents on a skein of DMC. So those sort of things don't really work on a place like Etsy where the fees are so high. So those things will be on my Simply Narelle store. So if you're looking for anything and you can't see it on my Etsy store, jump across to simplynarelle.com or just message me and say, hey, do you sell this? Do you have any in stock? Let me know. Also, I have a lot of things on my Etsy store that are, not Etsy store, on my Simply Narelle store that are showing as back ordered. That's because I can supply a whole lot more than I can physically hold. Here I only have this one small little room and I can't physically hold that much stock. So if you order something, it says, if you want something and it says back ordered, still order it. I can get it from the supplier. It just means it'll be like a week or so delay till I can get it. I also have some full coverages. I'm starting to play a lot with my design software, and full coverages are so much fun to create, and they're super easy, really. So if you have any ideas for themes that you'd like, let me know. I do have a few series on there. I have a ballerina series and I have a stained glass series, and I have lots of ideas coming that I want to do as well. So yeah, I think that's it for today. That's enough in my very disjointed video. Like I said at the start, I don't know when I'll be back again. It could be days, it could be weeks, who knows. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed everything you've seen today. If you have any questions, comment below. You can always email me, simplynarelle@gmail.com, or message me on Instagram. I'm Simply Narelle everywhere, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. So yeah, look me up. Happy to have a chat. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic stitchy day and a week and however long it is till I see you again. thank you for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. That'd be good. Tell your friends about me as well. Oh, one thing. I had some giveaways that people didn't claim. Or one lady claimed and they never responded when I told her that she won. So I will eventually get back into they're not giveaways, they're pay it forwards, really. They are my completed charts that I'm going to pay forward. So I'll revisit those and I'll put a call out maybe in the next video to get people who want those charts to put your name down. So not this time, maybe next time. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.